Damian Lillard dropped 60 points last night, and the team still lost. How do you drop 60 and still lose? I don't know. Maybe ask James Harden. He's mastered that craft. And a smiling Knicks fan has joined the chat because a game that we shouldn't have even been close in, we ended up winning. And the craziest part about it was R.J. Barrett only had 3 points. Marcus Morris went off. Frank Ntilikina, I haven't seen a Frank Ntilikina masterful appearance yet since he's been on the Knicks. But let me tell you something about last night. Frank Ntilikina was 4 for 5 from three-point range. Stole the ball, blocked the ball, got assists. Frank Ntilikina played the best game in his career and showed some of us why he may still be vying for that point guard position. This is your Inside the NBA special. I figured I had not had the NBA on my channel without any type of preview and predictions. Otherwise than that, it has not been active on my channel. And I figured since last night was one of the craziest days, definitely the craziest NBA overall day in the season, and just as a whole, that I figured I would get a video out doing a little, we're going to review every game, but the only thing is that some of these games are going to be very quick, and the other ones are going to be gifted in more detail. There was a lot of overtime games, a couple of late second shots, a buzzer beater, a blowout, a very dominating day for players. 60 points. Who else? Somebody dropped 44. 52. It was just a dominant day for NBA basketball, and I figured it was something I'm going to get out before Full Gear runs into sale at his AEW, before that hits the airwaves in just about a little bit. Last night in the NBA. Now let me say something about this New York Knicks team. First off, it was a great team win. When it's all said and done, the team is 2-7. Early in the season, but they're 2-7. Is this Knicks team amazing? No. Is this Knicks team great? Not really. Is this Knicks team awful? Not necessarily. Scoring the ball has not been an issue for us this year. Crunch time and our starting five has been an issue because we don't know who's going to go where. We have so many young players. We're just too young. So even if we had squeezed an AC playoff spot, we're not going to do anything in the playoffs. And I'm being honest with you, we would get swept first round. Anyway, I'll get to the Knicks in a minute. We are going to start off with the Pistons and the Pacers. The Pistons lost this game 112-106. 4 of the 5 Pacers starters scored in double digits. Sabonis and Warren both had 17 apiece. Luke Kennard was the top scorer in the game, and for the Pistons, 29 points. The Pacers ended up winning this game by 6. Not too much to talk about here. I'm going to kind of just move on. Grizzlies and Magic, the least exciting game. The Magic ripped the Grizzlies and snapped a 4-game losing streak. Nikolai Vucevic had 23 points and 16 rebounds, 118-86, Orlando over the Grizzlies. The next game was a good game by the Cleveland Cavaliers, believe it or not. It was a great team effort. Cleveland scored all around. Thompson led the pack with 21 points. The New York Knicks will be hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. I will be at that game with a few friends. I'm looking forward to it. I had the fortunate occurrence of getting tickets handed to me by a family member, so I'm looking forward to that. And the Cavs were to beat the Wizards 113-100. John Wall still obviously out on IR. Kings and Hawks. Trae Young is on a mission, and he has been all season up to this point. Like I said, it's only 9 games, but he dropped 30 points. The Kings still won though. Buddy Hield had 22, and they fought off a potential comeback from the Atlanta Hawks. 121-109. Sacramento Kings beat the Atlanta Hawks. And the next game, the NBA. I saw this on Bleacher Report, and this is the best way I can describe it. The NBA is on a revenge tour against the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are literally taking ass beatings from every single team left and right. Was this game an ass beating? No. But they did lose in overtime to the Timberwolves, 125-119 in overtime. It was a fantastic game, and now D'Angelo Russell is going to be put in this role of team leader, as Klay Thompson is most likely out the year, Steph Curry out for a while. Draymond Green is we're going to see where he comes back, but Draymond Green is not a leader on the Warriors anyway. I don't care what anybody says. D'Angelo Russell went on a tear. He had 52 points, but again, the team still lost. Andrew Wiggins, it was nice to see him for once on the Minnesota Timberwolves, 40 points, and they gave the Timberwolves an overtime win. D'Angelo Russell is now going to be put in that spot of team leader, and he's going to see what he's really made of. Yes, he was a good team leader on the Brooklyn Nets, but he was also surrounded by talent. Eric Pascal, actually, believe it or not, has been balling deep for the Golden State Warriors despite their atrocious record this early in the season. So again, that's going to be something that you are going to want to look out for. But this Warriors team, I still, there's part of me that still believes they have a chance to make the playoffs. But for whatever reason, well, we know why the Warriors are trash. We're all set on that, correct? Because Kevin Durant left, Klay's hurt, Steph is hurt now. Even when Steph was there, it's just him and Draymond, and there's a bunch of younger talent. But Pascal has been great so far for the Warriors, so don't write them off yet. But they're not going to win a championship this year. I can promise you that. So we're going to see what D'Angelo Russell's made of, assuming that he takes on this role. But yeah, he had a great night. Still not enough. The next game was the Raptors go into New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. Final score was 122-104 Toronto. Siakam balls out in his leadership role on the Toronto Raptors. He dropped 44. Now, this news was given to me just after I took my notes. Lowry is going to be out 2 weeks with injury. Brandon Ingram continues to ball out as he has so far at this point for the Pelicans with 27. But here's the problem. The Pelicans are 1-7. The Pelicans can rely on Brandon Ingram and Jrue Holiday all they want. This team needs Zion Williamson. This team will not feel any type of, I think, stretch and any type of dominating or any type of leadership role. I know Ingram is probably the unsaid leader, but like I said, I'm going with the Pelicans to be in trouble until Zion comes back, assuming that could be in a couple weeks. I don't know exactly what the Zion recovery is looking like, but he will definitely be seeing him come soon. The next game was the New York Knicks taking on the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks will travel to New York to take on the Knicks this Thursday, and it will be the second time the Knicks have played the Mavericks in 7 days. Also, onto that fact, Porzingis will have his homecoming, which I think is probably going to be booed out of the building because at the end of the day, he requested to be traded. He didn't want to be there, and he made that known. So when the fans see a player doesn't want to be there, some of them pretend to no longer like him. I don't hate Porzingis. I understand he was young, but you have to look at it of the standpoint of he was young, he has so much potential left, and he doesn't want to waste his career away on the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks are going to be a laughingstock for the next 5 years, but he just wasn't willing to take that risk, and I can respect that. I don't really know what he was to do. What was he supposed to do? Sit here and say, "Oh, I don't want to play. Can you trade me?" Because fans don't think of it in the grand aspect of that. If you are playing for a team that is headed, I wouldn't say the Knicks were headed in the wrong direction, but not a promising direction, and you see that you have the potential to go somewhere else, a good team that you want to go to, while you still have name value, then do it. The Knicks won this game, 106-102. Marcus Morris continues his shooting grade. He's been phenomenal for the Knicks so far this season, 29. Ntilikina, best game of his career, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. If Frank Ntilikina wants the point guard position, it is wide open, and it has been wide open for the New York Knicks for a while. I'm not going to jump on the wagon and say let's get on that Ntilikina train and ride it all the way to Madison Square Garden, but the thing is, I like Frank Ntilikina. I think he's great on defense, but he has not at all lived up to anything really since he's been on the Knicks. Maybe this is a cornerstone, and maybe they'll try. I think maybe tomorrow you start Ntilikina and see if you can start to maybe get that ball rolling a little bit for the Knicks. Again, Bobby Portis too, he's been in different roles, but he shined off the bench. And Randall also, who's been a little inconsistent at 21 of his own. But I think the most interesting part of this game was that Barrett was very quiet. I don't know if he was 1 for 3 or 1 for 9 from three-point range, or field goal range. Barrett didn't do anything. So for the Knicks to win like this and not have anything from their promising future star player in R.J. Barrett, that was pretty dope. This was Porzingis' first game against the New York Knicks, homecoming. He played well. He had 28. There was almost a spot where somebody said that Ntilikina almost posturized him. I don't know if I believe that. I'll have to go back and see that. Doncic dominates, and he's been the soul of the Dallas Mavericks. He had 38, but it was a great win for the Knicks. Hopefully they can build on it. And I think Cleveland is the perfect team for them to take on tomorrow. 76ers and the Nuggets, 197, Denver wins. Nikola Jokic had 26 in this game as a top scorer, and he sent the Denver faithful home happy. I think that this was I wrote it wrong. I wrote down that it was a buzzer beater. It was a game-winning shot with a second left, but in all seriousness, it was not a buzzer beater, but the Nuggets were able to win this game 100-97. As a couple of years ago, this game on your television was a bleach drinking game. Nobody cares about the Bucks and the Jazz, and now they are two of the promising teams in the Western/Eastern Conference. Giannis continues his MVP caliber-like year. He had 30 points. Bogdanovich had a great 33 for Utah, and he did hit a buzzer-beater game winner to give the Utah Jazz the edge over the Milwaukee Bucks. The Jazz are there, and they are coming. Between them, the Nuggets, both LA teams, Houston, Denver. Oh, I said Denver already. It is going to be a very tough Western Conference, and it's already shaping up that way already. But they do edge out this game. And the next game was a scoring frenzy. The Nets were in Portland to take on the Trailblazers. Damian Lillard goes into God mode, and he may be the best point guard in the league. It also depends on who you ask. 60 points, but the team still loses. And that was because Kyrie Irving had a great game. He had 33, and Spencer Dinwiddie led the way with 34 points for the Brooklyn Nets. 119-115 final. Nets are sitting at 500 as we speak. But I do believe the Nets will be good, and they will certainly be in the playoffs. Trailblazers as well. Final game of the night was the Heat taking on the Lakers at Staples Center. 26 points by Anthony Davis, 25 by LeBron. They are easily proving to be one of the best duos. LeBron kicked it up, and he was clutch in the fourth quarter. The Lakers kept rolling. Other notable performers was Jimmy Butler, 22 points for the Miami Heat, 95-80 final, Lakers win. This was your NBA Inside Special, and I had fun doing this. Again, I can't do this every night. It is literally impossible. I would have to have no type of life, really, to review every single NBA game on every single night. But I felt like last night was a special enough night to where I could have done it. A lot going on in this. Want to see what happens. Rooting for the Knicks. Hopefully they can build on it. As you can see, the league is extremely competitive this year, and it is going to be interesting to see what falls into place.